Hi, this is Joe Chambers. Welcome to Musicians Hall of Fame Backstage from the Vault series. These videos were made starting back in 2004, 2 years even before the Musicians Hall of Fame and Museum opened here in Nashville, Tennessee. We hope you enjoy what you see. If you do, please hit like and subscribe. It really helps. Hey, today's video from the Vault features the great Neil Young.
Well, my dad showed me, got me an Arthur Godfrey ukulele when I was just a kid, I don't know how old I was, 9 or 10 or something, and played a song to me. I can still remember him playing it. And I think my uncle wrote the song, so it was called Out on the Lone Prairie or something. I mean, it was some kind of funky prairie country song, And then then I just got started, and I used to listen to the radio stations that we could pick up in Canada that were from the States, and listen to the old there was a big station coming out of Chicago, I think, that I used to pick up a lot. And
did you ever listen to the Opry?
Yeah, I listened to the Opry. Not as much as those rock and roll stations, though. The Opry didn't reach me, or if it did, I didn't know it. But I played a lot of places. I used to play every Saturday afternoon at a place called Patterson's Ranch House, and up in Winnipeg, and that was a good gig. And we'd play 4 hours in the afternoon and make like $3 or $4 each, and there were 4 of us. That was a good day if we got that many people in there. And then at night, the country, Bluegrass Bob and the Bobcats would show up or something with their truck and their trailer, and we'd look at these guys like they were God, they had their own trailer with their name on it,
That was fun, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was all good. It was all good stuff.
And so, how were you when you first performed in front of an audience?
About 15, I think.
Yeah. And you were playing guitar by then?
Yeah.
And what kind of guitar did you have?
I had a Gibson Les Paul Jr. When I started playing that, that'd be, I think, the first lead guitar that I had. Yeah.
And
did a lot of instrumentals.
What kind of amplifier did you have? Do you remember?
Back then, first I was using another guy's amp, and then I got my own. I believe I had I think the first amp that I had was an Ampeg Echo Twin, and that was a big amp. And then I graduated up to a Fender Tremolux, which is a piggyback Fender amp, and then after that I moved up to a number of amps. After that was really the Springfield came next after that, so that'd be like some kind of Bandmaster or something, the new black ones from CBS. I had one of those for a while. And then when I moved into when I formed Crazy Horse, there was a guy in LA on Larchmont Boulevard called Saul Bettman, who used to have a house full of instruments and amplifiers. And I went down there, and they had all these old Tweedy amps and everything, and I loved all that old stuff. I always liked the old instruments. And I found this one amp in there. This was in 1967, I think. And I took my old Gretsch. I had this funky old Gretsch, and I took it down there, and I played it through this amp, and the amp just took off. You didn't even have to play the guitar. You just plug it in, and then suddenly the strings all started going. I mean, you turn it all the way up, and it just fed back for days. You couldn't stop it from feeding back, and none of the other amps did that. So I bought that one. It was like $75, and I took that home, and I'm still playing it today.
I was going to ask you, how many of those guitars and instruments do you still have from those days?
I still got the original Buffalo Springfield Gretsch, and I still have my.
Is that a White Falcon?
I have the White Falcon that I used with the Buffalo Springfield, and Stephen Stills has one of the ones that I originally had. I gave it to him, and he gave me another one that he had found, which I liked even better, which was a stereo White Falcon, and I have that one now, and I played that on a lot of early records with them, and also on my own. But I still have the old amp that I use almost all the time as my Fender Deluxe amp, and I traded Jim Messina a funky Gretsch that I had, a second Gretsch. I traded it for my Les Paul, my black Les Paul, and I put a Bigsby wang bar on that. Actually, there was one on it already, and I fixed that up and attached it better, and changed the bridge a little bit and made a few changes to that, and I'm still playing that today. So I got that 1968. I still got it now.
And that was the white
Gibson Les Paul,
the black Les
old
Paul.
black, yeah, with the wang
Was-
bar, and that and the Fender Deluxe.
Do you, was that you playing the I guess the chime or whatever it is with the
For What It's Worth?
Yeah.
That's me. I'm using a Gretsch, and I believe I'm using a Fender Bandmaster or a Tremolux.
You use your tremolo a lot.
Yeah, I hold it. I bend all my wang bars. I take the wang bar and I bend it. That's the first thing I do is bend it so it's parallel to the strings, so that I can play it and have it tucked in my hand without having to worry about it. So then, as I'm playing, I can just move it a little bit, or I can touch it, or I can. So that way it becomes second nature to me. You know, I just play
Almost
it
like a voice, like.
Yeah, and you know, some guys would think when I played it at the beginning, think, well, you know, you really should be bending your string and doing that like B.B. King does, and I'm not B.B. King, you know. He does it like nobody else can do that, you know. He does it. He's got this tone. He just moves his. He's got this big old fat hand, and he's just got his super tone. And now there's a musician, and so, you know, so I use this wang bar because to me it gives it a sound. If I can go crazy with it, but did I do that first? No, I didn't do that first. I mean, I've done it for a long time. But, you know, you got to look at guys like Lonnie Mack. He showed everybody how to use a wang bar. And yet Hank Marvin from the Shadows in England, he used it a different way. He used it against an Echoplex machine. It wasn't an Echoplex, it was just a Revox tape recorder with a bunch of things wired together on it. So he got an echo repeat, so that the idea with that is to play the first note and then bend it, and so that the repeat of the note is going a little bit out of tune with the next note you play. So then the sound gets huge. It's like a real-time hand-controlled flanging device, you know. And so you get the sound to be twice as big. If you have an echo that'll play back, you know, what you already did, and then your next note is just a little out with it, that gets twice as big. So you know, that came from Hank Marvin. But and Lonnie Mack and Hank Marvin are different as night and day. But I liked both of them, and I took what they both do and combined that together. And you know, I liked what that sounded like. And I also really loved the way Floyd Kramer played the piano, so I tried to combine those pulls with the reverb and with the echo and the wang bar and the pull and everything to get developed as kind of a guitar version of a steel guitar, Floyd Kramer kind of a thing, you know, for some effects on some records.
You know, Chuck Berry was influenced heavily by a keyboardist as well, you know, with Johnny.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well,
And
Chuck Berry, there's a defining guitarist. Everybody plays like him. That's a Chuck Berry sound. You know? If you can't play, you know, like he says to the pickup bands he uses, if you don't know my songs, you don't know how to play. You know, you don't know how to play rock and roll.
what kind of strings do you use?
You know, I use, I guess, an equivalent of the. For a long time, I used the Ernie Ball Super Slinkies, but it depends on what. And now there's a new GTR strings. I think we use some of those. Larry Craig takes care of my guitar now and keeps it in tune for me, because the wang bar it's definitely a problem for staying in tune. But he's got my Les Paul really good, and I'm actually more of a player than I am a caretaker for the instrument. And I've kind of gotten spoiled by having this great technician take care of my stuff, and the guys who take care of my amps, Sal Trentino, and you know, it's a whole army of people behind the guitar and the amp and the control switchboard that I have that's got the motorized faders and everything, so that I don't have to split the signal. I don't have to put my signal through anything to turn it up and down. I got motors on the knobs with a digital readout and all these different positions for the knobs, so I have all these presets, so I can hit different things and turn the treble up and the bass down and the volume up to get one setting, and then so I have 4 different settings that I preset by setting the individual settings on the amp, and I get the kind of distortion that I need to get, and besides adding in effects here and there, you know. So those guys are all the guys. You know, there's so many people that are part of making up the sound, and Larry Craig and Sal Trentino the whole all those guys. I mean, I'm just playing the guitar, and you know, I couldn't do what I do without those guys.
What about your Martins? What do you play? What kind of strings do you use on
I use, I think I'm using D'Angelico medium, maybe light sometimes. But yeah, I got mostly on this new record I'm just making, Prairie Wind. I'm using Hank Williams D28, and I got that from Tut Taylor through Grant Boatwright. Maybe 20 years ago, I picked up that guitar, and I've been playing it all exclusively on this record, and more over the years. And just you know, the more I play it, the better it sounds.